Okay, I'm back recording. Okay. Now, how I'm going to repair this very carefully. I'm going to try. We'll see how it turns out. Okay. Going to take my tweezers, tear pieces out so I can get that skin tone. I always do the corners. Always. I'm one of those people that try to be a perfectionist. I don't know why I'm like that. People say I'm OCD. I think that's what you call over compulsive disorder. When I make cakes, I'm the same way. I have to have it perfect or it will irritate me so bad. I mean, it literally irritates me. If it's not smooth and it doesn't look right, it will irk me. It will get under my skin so bad. So I try to make things as perfect as possible. You have to do this to get the modeling of the skin. And it's, I mean, that's the best I can do. But even though it looks like that, it'll still come out nice. It'll still look cute. Or it'll look good. I don't know if I want to say cute. But I'll show you. I use these are I do use this one because it is light and it's good for the skin tone, but I only use one coat of this for the skin tone just to get a little bit of darkness. And the color that you make for the veining, you do have to make it very translucent. You have to use very little color until you get a translucent blue. I painted her arm, the veining, and I made it a little dark, but the other one looks really, really good. Some of her veining is dark. I messed up. I'm still learning. I'm not perfect. So I do the layer of this light color, the fleshy pinky color that I made. I don't have a video of me making that, but I'm going to try to patch her up in the areas. And I only do one layer of this on the bottom of her foot. One layer. I don't want it too dark because I want it to look like the bottom of her feet are lighter than the rest of her body. So I only do one layer. It's easier to paint whenever the body's not together, but me, always doing it the hard way. I will just paint in around these areas. Now with the darker tone, I will only paint in the areas that needs to be painted. This lighter tone is not going to hurt it. And all it's going to do is just help seal that up. And it doesn't take long for this to dry. So you really don't need a whole lot of patching. So I'm going to let that dry. Set that down and let it dry. And then I'm going to open this darker color. Once you get the hang of it, you'll develop your own way of painting, and because everybody doesn't paint the same, you have to find what works best for you. I'm just showing you how I do it. Then you can take it from there. Some people, they put the paint on with the brush, and then they take the modeling and then pounce it off. I find it easier to do it this way. And you'll see this isn't very dark. As you can see, it's not dark at all. It just gives her some color. And it's okay to get it around a little bit because, you know, they do have splotchy skin. I don't know how that got down there, but... And I do not take it on the bottom of her foot. There's something, it might be from... I just do it around the edge of her foot. And I take it down and kind of blend it in. And I spread it. I spread that dark color. And this is the hard part. And it takes me about 4 or 5 layers. And she may end up looking like she has a birthmark around this area. But that's okay. She's for me, she's not for sale. Some babies do have natural darker spots than others. Other areas, like birthmarks. You can see how she's developing some color there. I want to let that set for a little bit. I might put a little more color under her chin because it doesn't look like she has very much color under there. She does, but she doesn't. There, that looks better. Now she's got some more color under there. I probably need to take my paintbrush, whatever I did with it. And you have to excuse me because I have a lot of the slur in my speaking, and it's because after having children, unfortunately, I have had to have some teeth removed. And so it's hard for me to talk. And my teeth are very fragile, and I bruxate, and so my teeth have... I will warn you, anybody who bruxates at night make sure you use a bite guard. I did not know that, and the dentist told me after it was too late, and I'm going to go get one to protect my teeth because I do bruxate and I do still have some teeth, but not as many as I would like to have. And I bruxate and bite down really hard at night, and it's breaking my teeth. And I'm painting in her crease to paint a little more pinky color in there. I may have to get the reddish color and paint it. And you see it's starting to dry, and it's drying a little darker. I love her little toes. Her toes are just so cute. They are adorable. And I do take the dark color and I paint in her creases, because I want that to be a little darker. I don't want it to be too dark, but I just want it to look more, you can see more of the details when it's darker. It helps them to be more vivid. It makes them pop, if you understand what I mean. You see how it kind of makes them stand out a little more? And once it dries, it'll look better. I don't want to make them like too pink or too red, because it just, to me, it doesn't look as realistic when they're so red. I mean, yeah, their creases are a little red, but it's not as red as some people make them. And it's just, this just makes it pop to where you can actually see that there's, creases. In my opinion, I could be doing it the wrong way. I don't know. But I know on the ethnic babies, when you make their skin dark, you definitely want to do this to their feet, because it does really, the ethnic babies do have that darker lines, because my babies are ethnic, and they do have the darker lines I mean, they're biracial. They do have the darker lines in the creases, in their little creases in their hands, their feet. We have a lot of ethnic babies in our family, so believe me, they do have the darker lines. Not the red. It's the darker skin, like skin tone on their feet. Their feet are light. On the bottoms of their feet, they're light, but they have the darker lines right in here. All these are dark. And if you look at pictures of ethnic babies, they do have the darker lines. I'm not making hers too dark. I'm just making them to where you can see that she does have creases in her feet. And that's how you do that. And then I do it on her legs and the top of her feet, her ankles. When I get too much on there, I just take my finger and swipe over it to take the excess off. I'm going to kind of paint in right in here to make it darken up a little bit. kind of blend things together. And I'm going to do it on the side of her foot right here, in these little lines. She's got such beautiful detail. I'm like so in love with this baby. And the Miranda, let me get her kit for you real quick. They are absolutely beautiful babies. And I can put this one aside for now, over here on my pillow, and I can get the Miranda kit and start working on her and show you how to paint. I can show you how to paint a baby while I'm doing this video. This isn't the only thing I do. I do have a job, but I don't work too much because I do have an injured back. So this is something I do on the side, as a hobby. And my sculpts that I'm making, matter of fact, I should get that one so you can see the one I'm working on. This is my little Anthony sculpt that I'm working on. He is a twin, and the little girl's in the other room. I've got more progress on him than I have the little girl. And see the back of his head, it's just aluminum foil. I still got a lot of work to do. But this is my little Anthony sculpt. He's got a long way to go. And this is my little Miranda kit. She's gorgeous too. Here's her little arms. Here's the Miranda sculpt. Not sculpt, the reborn. I love her. Love her details. Okay, I can show you how to paint her while I'm waiting on the other one to dry. Okay, this is the fleshy pink. I don't know if I'm in frame. I know it looks like a lot, but I move it around. I come back and I pick it up, and I just keep moving it around. And you can hear my cat in the background sparkle. She's so ornery. And I just keep picking up and moving it around. I need to get a little more. And I'll put it on here and I'll move it around. Make sure I get inside her ears. And get behind them. Make sure I get inside her ears. And I use the fleshy pink, the pink, fleshy pink, the pink flesh, or whatever you want to call it. It's just a mixture I made of the, I used the mocha color and a little bit of red mixed together. Just a little bit of red, not much, because I don't want it red. I just want her to have that pinky flesh color. And then I will use a coat of the brown color to darken it up. I might use 2. It depends on how I'm feeling. I think I want this one to be a little darker than I do the Evelyn. More of like a Latino color. My husband gets mad. My husband is Mexican. And he does not like for me to call him Latino or anybody to call him Latino. He says he's not Latino, he's Mexican. So, some Mexicans get mad if you call them Latinos. So I try not to call them Latinos, I call them Mexican. He says the ones that are Latinos are like the Guatemalan and I think Spain, stuff like that. I'm not sure. I just know what I've heard of them, what they refer to as here as all like Hispanics, you know, stuff like that. They consider them Latinos. I don't know why they do that and why it's, I don't know. Either they're Mexican or Guatemalan or Puerto Rican, whatever. That's just what they are or where they're from. I don't know why they call them all Latinos. So that's pretty much dry because I thin it out. And you can see where it's starting to do the modeling effect. As you keep moving it around, it takes some off and gives it the modeling effect. Okay, and now I'm going to take the brown, the light brown, not that darker brown I made for the hair. This is the lighter brown. It's doesn't have as much paint in it. And we'll start right here, and I'm going to start moving this paint around as I work, like I did with the pinky flesh, because it dries pretty quick. As when you make it thin, it dries pretty quick when you move it around. It doesn't take long at all for it to dry. Now, for it to completely cure, I would let it dry for a couple of days. And see, it doesn't make her dark. It just gives her a little more of a flesh color. But I think I'm going to make her a more of an ethnic baby. She just has that look to her. I mean, I know she looks like she could be an ethnic baby. And that's what I love, little ethnic babies. I don't know why. I love darker skinned babies. I'm sorry if I'm getting out of frame. But I just keep spreading it and keep moving it around. And as you keep moving it and you keep going around and picking up, it gives that modeling effect. And I just kind of dab it in different areas so I can move it around. Make sure I get some in her ears. I don't want to leave her ears out. And I'm going to have to go back in there with a brush. You got to make sure you get up under their noses, because you don't want to leave that white without any color. And see how she's coming to life with her color? I got to get this ear. Make sure I get the color in there. And I'm going to go in with her ears with the paintbrush. You gotta make sure you get in here under her chin and her lips. And see, you can see some of the modeling. I don't know if you could see it with the light shining on it, but you see how she's coming to life with the color that you add. And then I can take the paintbrush and add a little more pink color, because around their eyes are a little more pink. And their eyes, I mean, they tend to be a little bit darker around here. And I'll let that dry. Make sure you get in that crease. And remember, don't forget the inside corner of their eyes, because that sometimes doesn't get painted and it will start looking funny. So it's just easier to go in with the brush. And then I'm going to take a little bit of dark color in her nostrils and kind of darken it. And see how that helps. And she's looking, I mean, she's coming to life. As you paint and you get more, I'm putting a little bit of darker brown on her lips, and then I'll go in with the more pink color. But as you paint and you keep going, they come more lifelike, and it's amazing. And I've seen so many different versions of people, you know, painting these babies, and they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I love seeing other people's work. I love watching. I go on there and watch In Love with Reborns, and Jackie, her wife. Oh my God, their work is amazing, amazing. I love watching their videos. They are some of the best artists that I have seen, and their hair painting, their hair rooting. Oh my God, I only wish I could be that good. I'm still learning, and maybe one day I will be good at hair painting, but as of right now, I'm still learning the hair painting. I can't use the Genesis heat set paint. I have a reaction to paint thinners. I tried to use paint thinner in silicone, trying to experiment with some silicone to reproduce some of my sculpts, and I had a bad reaction. I got so sick I couldn't breathe. My respiratory is messed up for 2 weeks, so I cannot use stuff like that. I have, you know, I have asthma, and it's just really bad for me. And see, I add a little paint to her lips, a little color. She's gorgeous, and she's coming to life. I'm gonna add a little more dark right there on her eyes, because as I add more layers of paint, that will darken up, and I want it to be a little darker around her eye right there, because their eyes tend to be a little darker right there. And I think I need to go in with the pinky flesh color, all in here, so that it doesn't get left out. Make sure I get behind the ears. See, this is already dry. It doesn't take long at all for it to dry, I promise you. The thin coats don't take that long. Make sure I get behind her ear, her other ear. And it doesn't have to be perfect because, I mean, not yet. Because, babies aren't perfect. Our skin tone is not perfect at all. By far from being perfect. We have different tones all in our skin. And I'm going to use another pinky flesh tone layer. I'm going to pick up out of here and then put it in the cap. It's easier if you use the lid. And see, I just kind of dab it all over, and then I'll move this all around. I'll go back through and move it around and work with it. Oh, I'm sorry. I know I keep getting out of frame. It's hard for me to... I'm not used to that. I'm just now making these videos because I have a friend of mine and I love her to pieces, and she wants to learn how to reborn. So I'm making these videos for her and for others to see, the ones that want to do it and don't have all that kind of money to spend on all the other paints, and who don't want to have all those chemicals around them and their children and their animals, their fur babies. Some of us just don't want all those chemicals, and we want something that's going to last and be durable. And I've heard that people have been having issues with the other ways of doing air dry paints. So I tried this out, and it's pretty durable. I mean, of course it's going to come off if you scratch it, but I mean, these are collectibles. You have to be gentle with them. Just like a real baby, you have to be gentle with a real baby. You can't be aggressive with them at all. So you have to, I mean, these are reborns. You have to treat them as if they're real babies. And I'm learning how to paint silicone, and I will make videos on that eventually. I bought a silicone, Boo Boo silicone baby, and I fixed her. She's not perfect, far from it, because I did make some of the silicone where I fixed her darker, and but she's still beautiful. But I'm trying to learn how to work with silicone so that I can reproduce my sculpts into silicone. So I'm learning. And see how she has the modeling? As you move it around, it picks up and it takes some away and it moves it to other areas. And she's coming to life.